Hello, my name is Nora and welcome to my YouTube channel, Novels with Nora. So this is my first video, so I'm just going to do a little bit about me, why I'm making this channel, and what you can expect to see here. So like I said, my name's Nora, I am 21, I just graduated from college. I got my Bachelor's of Arts in Women's and Gender Studies with a minor in Communications, and I am making this YouTube channel for several reasons. First and foremost, doing my undergrad degree in Women's and Gender Studies really provided me with a sense of feminist community and just community at large that I'm afraid of losing now that I've graduated because I'm not seeing all of these people every day. And also, I've moved back home, so I am not really seeing anyone ever except my family. So I want to make sure that just because I graduated doesn't mean that I'm losing all of the community that I worked so hard to build. And also I want to build more community, a bigger community of feminists and people who enjoy the similar things that I do so that we can have good conversations. Because I think something that you really lose out on once you graduate college are the in-depth discussions that you have with the people in your classes. Most of my coursework was built around discussion-based courses. And we had such great conversations that dived so deep into topics I'm really passionate about. And I just don't have that anymore. And I think a lot of people might be feeling similarly once they graduate college because you do all of this intellectual deep work and then you just leave. And then that's it. And especially for people like me who aren't going immediately into a job, what comes next? So for me, I am going to grad school. I am going to get my Master's of Library Science, and I will be attempting to become a teen librarian. I worked at a library in high school, and then I also worked at the campus library when I was on campus, and I absolutely love it. I fell in love with libraries. I love everything that they do for their communities, and I think that a lot of times people just think, oh, it's just a place where you can go and get a book. Well, yes, and there's so much more that libraries do. They really are pillars of support for their communities, and I just want to shine a light on truly all of the amazing things that libraries and librarians do, because libraries are such magical places. And I think that, especially here on BookTube of all places, people know that. That is a well-known thing. But I think sometimes we forget that librarians are the ones who make them those magical places, especially with all the book bans and censorship that we're seeing. Librarians are the ones on the front lines fighting this, and we need to support them. And so that's why I'm here. I want to shine a light on what librarians are doing and how they're doing it in a feminist lens type of way, because that's what I know how to do. So my grad program is completely online. It is a 100% online course. I will never have any in-person classes, which means I am further separating myself from all of the community that I once had, that I loved so deeply, and I want to make sure that I can get back to that. And obviously, I'll probably build relationships with the people that are in my courses and in my class, but I want to make sure that I'm going a step beyond that. I don't want to just, well, I graduated, so now I'm done. I don't have to think so deeply about things anymore. I want to make sure that I'm still putting in the work and being a feminist, because I'm sure I'll talk later on this channel about what it means to be a feminist and how it goes so much deeper than you might think. But it can also just be super surface level, and that's fine for some people, but not me. And I want to make sure that I'm taking my activism a step further. And YouTube to me was just a way that sounded super fun and engaging, but also as a way to talk to people and build a sense of community. So I want to make sure that that's really what this channel is about, is building a sense of community. I don't want it to just be me yapping. I love yapping, don't get me wrong, but I want what I'm yapping about to have deeper meaning and more discussion. So if you're watching, put something in the comments. Tell me what you know about feminism. Tell me if you're interested in feminism. Just truly let me know what's going on in your head when you hear the word feminism. So, switching topics a little bit. In college, I did not read nearly as much as I would have liked to. I think that's a fairly common thing that happens. I read a whole bunch in high school, especially in the summers, and then I went to college and I was not reading nearly as much as I would like to, and now I want to get back into reading. But I don't want to just read, close the cover, move on to the next thing. I want to read a book and have conversations about it. And I don't want to get too philosophical here, but I want to make sure that I'm engaging deeper with the text that I'm reading and not just, like I said, reading it, closing the cover, moving on. And that's totally fine if that's how you read. I completely understand it. Reading is an escape. But I think that there's so much more that can be gained from books and from what the authors are conveying in their writing if we have conversations about them. And I think that a lot of times people just read and they're like, okay, yeah, that was a good book. But they're not thinking, okay, but what was the author trying to say here? What message is being conveyed? Which I know that this has been a hot topic recently, but reading is political. You cannot read a book like about war and disease and different like class levels and be like, yeah, no, that was a good book, but there's nothing political here. Because there is. Inherently, there is. And I want to have these conversations because I have them in my head all the time. There's constantly things going on in there, but I don't really have a whole lot of people to, in my personal life, to then share those things with. So that's why we're here. That's what this channel's for. So let's talk a little bit about what you can expect to see on this channel more than what I've already said. Clearly, I have a lot of big opinions, and I will be sharing them, specifically about books and reading. So expect like reading vlogs, talking about different books. I plan on making a best books of the year type videos, like all of the common things that you see on BookTube, but with my own little flair in there, because I think we all have something unique to bring, and that's what I'm bringing. I am bringing my feminist lens that I hope I can help everyone see through, because feminism is so incredibly important, and I think that everyone should be able to engage with feminism in a way that's accessible to them. And so that's what I'm hoping to bring. But then on top of that, one of my favorite things to watch on YouTube are video essays. I love them so much. I always find myself learning something. And even if it's something I already knew, I'm learning more about that thing and diving deeper into it. And especially I just love reading the comments on video essays because there's always someone who has something to say that I never would have thought of before. So you can definitely expect some video essays here. I already have a few ideas of things that I want to do. So I hope you'll stick around for those. And then another one of my hobbies and interests is financial literacy and then media literacy and how the two connect. And so I definitely want to make some content about that. I think especially in the book sphere, we have so much overconsumption. So there's definitely going to be a lot of talks about that. I already have a video planned about book boxes and overconsumption, which is a whole other beast that we can get into. But then I'm also just going to be talking about my life and grad school and going through grad school as an online student and how that's so completely different from my undergrad, which was very much in person, very much discussion based. Everything we did was based around engaging with other people and their opinions and their backgrounds, and how now I'm completely online. So we'll see how that goes. But if any of this sounds interesting to you, stick around. A lot is going to be happening over here. I'm really excited to get started on this little YouTube journey. So feel free to join me if you're interested. Okay, I'll see you in the next one. Bye.